Steve Dotto here. How the heck you doing this fine day? Me? I'm excited because today we are going to go into a bit of a new place for Ask Dotto Tech. We are going to start taking some audio questions from the social network Anchor. So it's Anchors away today on Ask Dotto Tech. Ask Dotto Tech is the show where you ask questions and I answer them. And it shouldn't matter where you want to ask those questions. I should be there to listen. And one of the places I am listening is on the new social audio network Anchor. Now, we did a video on Anchor not too long ago. If you're interested in learning about it, have a wee gander at that video. But basically what it is it's a place where you post, almost like a Tumblr blog, where you post a comment and then people comment on your comments, on your post. But instead of written posts, all of the posts are audio-based, and it's based on your iPhone at this point here. I'm sure it'll be available in other platforms soon. But basically, you do it all through your smartphone. Now, the cool thing is I can actually export all of those audio comments and questions here into the web, so we can have a listen here, and we can use your questions from Anchor for this show. So if you do have a question, you follow us on Anchor. You can ask questions there. You could also just do it the old-fashioned way, which is posting questions here in YouTube or in Facebook or in our replying to our newsletter, depending on how you consume our content. So this was the beginning. I posted this video or this audio clip when I started the Anchor account. Hey there, Anchor Chain. Let's give this a try. We will try and use Anchor for a while to see if we can generate new questions and answers for my Ask Dotto Tech show. So I go on to explain just what this show is all about and invite some questions. And indeed, we got questions right away. The first came in from Lisa.
Hi, Steve. This is good timing. I've signed up with Constant Contact, going to be a partner with them. I want to integrate a CRM, just a little, free or cheap. Got any thoughts on that? I was looking through the integrations and they had sort of Zoho and Nimble and things. So, and then I saw your question. Perfect.
There we go. So Lisa is interested in CRMs. As it happened, just a couple of questions later, we got a question from Downhill for Life.
Hey, Steve. I would really like to know some of the greatest email newsletter solutions out there. I have been using GetResponse and MailerLite and MailChimp quite a bit, but I find them a bit expensive because...
Okay, so basically he's looking for also an inexpensive solution for mail list management. Now, these two questions are actually about almost the exact same thing, even though they're coming from very different angles. CRMs, or customer relationship management software, for those of us in the online and the internet marketing world, are really all about managing our mail lists. Now, a good CRM will do much more than just manage a mail list as far as managing all of your communications and interactions with the customer. But for so many of us in the online space, it's all about mail list management. And actually, I did a very detailed blog post or vlog post in my Growing Your YouTube channel to 100,000 subscribers on just this topic of why I chose a tool called Infusionsoft. But Infusionsoft, while it is many things, is not inexpensive. So let's talk about some kind of budget things that you can do to get into the CRM space. And this is a difficult space for anybody to advise because there are so many contenders in that space. So let's just pop in. I'm going to just bring up a couple of websites of the products that were talked about. So I've got up here Zoho, which Lisa mentioned early on, another one called GetResponse, which was mentioned by Downhill for Life, MailChimp, which Downhill for Life mentioned, and also Constant Contact, which Lisa mentioned she was becoming a partner with. Now, all of these are different forms of CRM. Now, Zoho is an interesting tool. I'm going to take a step back. Choosing the right tool here is impossible to do. I'm going to tell you right up front that you will never know if you made the best choice in mail list management or CRM software. All that you will ever know is if this choice is working for you. All of them will do essentially the same sorts of things. And it's incumbent on you, the person that's using these tools, to figure out the best way to use the tools, to dive in deep and integrate them with your business processes. So I would never tell people that, even though I chose Infusionsoft, that Infusionsoft is better than another application. It is an application which I purchased and I'm happy with and is working for me, but I've invested more than just money in Infusionsoft. I've invested learning the skills, I've hired people to support me with Infusionsoft, and I make sure that I use it to the best of my and its abilities. And it's the same with all of these applications. So Zoho is the one that's kind of the most open form, more traditional business, like if you're a consultant and if email is not your primary concern, sending out email, but instead staying in touch with your customers, having communications, having a really elaborate contact manager, kind of a Salesforce type interface, it's probably the most affordable and very robust, high-end entry-level product. What I mean is high-end, it'll do a lot. What I mean is entry-level is it shouldn't cost you a lot. But it's going to cost you a lot of time and energy to figure it out, to learn it, and to actually implement it. So much so that I'm not even going to do a demo of it because it just, we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it justice in this short period of time. So Zoho is far more traditional CRM as far as that goes. These other three packages that we're going to talk about, GetResponse, MailChimp, and Constant Contact. These are very much products that are built around the mail list and managing your email list. So let's just talk about that for a moment and some of the subtleties that are involved. Managing your mail list for most small businesses that are in the online space is probably the most important task that you have to do. There's an old mantra that says the money is in the list, and I believe that is very true because you have to think about all of the people who you connect with in the online world. If you're connecting with them through Facebook or through Twitter or through, as I do, through YouTube, every one of those people who we connect with through all of those other spaces are not our customers. They are not in our community because they are in YouTube or they're in Facebook's community and they own that connection. It's not until you move them to your website and then have them to opt in, have them sign up for your mail list, that they become part of your community, potentially at that point, your customer. So from my perspective, the most important business process that online and internet marketing people do and online sales do is we have to move people onto our mail list where we have the right to have a conversation with them and ultimately the right to sell something to them downstream if that's our business objective. So this is the keystone as far as building your business and actually converting from just being a curiosity into real revenue. So making this decision is often fraught with anxiety because you don't have a lot of answers going in. Now, of these tools, I like all three of these tools, and there's another one that I used called Aweber, which I started out with before I moved over to Infusionsoft. All of these I would consider to be entry-level products, and I'm just going to give you a quick snapshot of. And actually, I'm not even going to give you a quick snapshot about GetResponse because I don't know it. I've just heard good things about it and heard that it does quite well. So you're going to have to check it out yourself. But I do have experience with both MailChimp and with Constant Contact. Constant Contact, to me, is the perfect mail list management for things like church and social groups. It's got a wonderful template builder for building out your templated emails, and it's very simple. It's very user-friendly, and they've got excellent customer service. It's a little bit expensive, and it's a little bit limited in the flexibility and all of the different type API integrations that we do. So if you're going to be actually doing some really sophisticated marketing with Facebook campaigns and webinars and all of those sorts of things, it will work, but it's not going to be quite as sophisticated as a higher end product like an Infusionsoft or an Entreport, which is kind of the next level up. But I think if you've got a lot of different people that are going to be managing your mail list, you don't have the wherewithal to dive right in and learn all of the nuances of the management system, but you're looking to be handheld through it. I think Constant Contact is a terrific place to start. So we will say that's good for that. Aweber is the one that I use the most. Let me just call them up here because Aweber is the one that I started out with, and it is, I think along with MailChimp, is probably considered to be the top of the entry level, kind of one of the most popular entry level packages. And I liked Aweber a lot. I was able to build my business with Aweber, but I don't philosophically agree with Aweber's business practices. Let me explain something to you that happens, and this is a big decision point. This is, to me, is probably the most important thing as you look at these packages, is what is they ultimately going to cost you to use as you go downstream, because they will all cost you you're not going to be doing this for free. They're all going to cost you between $50 and $100 or $200 or $300 a month as you move downstream and as you build your audience. And the thing that threw me off with Aweber is this, is essentially with all of these packages, you pay for one of two things. You pay for the number of contacts you have or the number of emails you send or a combination thereof. The value they bring is because they keep their email list clean and because they manage it all, is you can send to hundreds or thousands of people emails without burdening your own server, which would then be identified as spam. So this is a way that we can get our message out to many, many people. This is why we can't use our Gmail account or something like that. So this is why they are all set up for double opt-in and they keep their mail list clean. So that is all totally legit with all of these applications. They do a good job. What I didn't like about Aweber is how they identified how they charge. And you have to go back to what is one of our contacts worth in each of these applications. Aweber charges you by the number of contacts you have. So if you have an email address of a person that signs up, let's take me for example, let's say they're interested in Evernote. So they sign up for me with some sort of an opt-in program that I have to use Evernote, or to learn about Evernote, to take my free Evernote course. So they now become an Evernote. They are on my Evernote email list. But if they're also interested in task management, which they likely are, then when I opt them in or when they indicate an interest in learning more about task management, what happens with Aweber is they actually go on another list. And now there are two people that I'm paying monthly to have on my list, not just one. All of the other applications, or should I say MailChimp and Infusionsoft, the higher end applications, don't look at that as multiple individuals. Instead, they attach a tag or some sort of flagging structure that allows me to say that this person is interested in both task management and to-do lists, and I'm only paying for a single person. So you really have to dive in deep before you decide as far as understanding what the real pricing is of these applications is as you make your decision, because it's difficult to switch once you've made the decision and you're on the path with one of these. In fact, I think it's counterproductive to move off to move laterally. So if you're going from Aweber to MailChimp, I would never consider that because they're very similar products, very similar levels. You have to kind of take a step up to the next level above all of these applications if you're going to make a change, moving to an Infusionsoft or an Ontoport, which is the decision process that I went through. And it's a lot of work. It's disruptive for, I will be honest, maybe 2 months of your business cycle while you're migrating your business over, learning the new platform, and ultimately enrolling and getting it all running and moving forward. So I hope that you found this useful, and it's kind of been a tutorial on mail lists and CRMs from a internet marketing perspective, but these are some of the most important decisions that online marketers and internet marketers have to make. This tool becomes your business partner for quite some time, so making a good decision in this space is ever so important. Bottom line is, I don't think you can make a wrong decision, but you can enter it with the wrong attitude of just kind of constantly looking at other applications. Instead, once you've made your decision, do the best research you can. Once you've made your decision, you dive in with both feet into that application, learn every nuance, every subtlety of it, and take full advantage of each of their potential. Well, I hope you found today's video to be useful. Now, there are several ways to stay in touch with us here on Dotto Tech. The first is, of course, subscribe to this channel, and I would be remiss if I did not invite you to sign up for our newsletter, where we tell you about all of our upcoming live trainings, tutorials, and other sorts of things like that that are awesome. And finally, Dotto Tech is a community-funded channel, supported through the generosity of those people who watch and consume our content through the crowdfunding site Patreon. I encourage you to drop by our Patreon page, take a look, and discover what perks are available to those of you who choose to support Dotto Tech. Till next time, I'm Steve Dotto. Have fun storming a castle.